Are you thinking of moving to Wesley Chapel and you want to know if it's a safe place to live? Well, how do you find out? Come on, let's go. So you've decided that you might like to live in Wesley Chapel, Florida. And I mean, why wouldn't you? There's a lot of stuff going on here. We have so much to do. There's Wiregrass Mall, the Outlet Center. There's the Crate at the Grove, which is so awesome. The shipping containers turned into restaurants and shops. We are centrally located. We're close to Tampa, the Gulf Beaches, not a bad drive to Orlando. So there's a lot going on here. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the state, and a lot of people want to live here. There's a lot of new construction homes, there's resale homes. It's a good place to be. So, but you want to know specifically, hey, is it safe? Is it a safe place? What's the crime like? Should I be worried about something? And so I thought, well, maybe it might be a good idea to do a video about that. But here's the thing, I cannot tell you specifically the answer to that question because it's not legal for me to. As a real estate broker, I am prohibited in discussing whether or not an area is safe. I cannot tell you the crime stats. I cannot give you details like that at all. But it got me thinking that so many people do ask that question, that why should you go through all the hard work of trying to find that information out when I have actually done some of the research for you in finding the websites that give you the information that you might find helpful or useful if you're planning to move here, because that sometimes is hard to find. Believe it or not, I've spent a couple of weeks just doing some research. I have been a real estate broker in this area for 20 years, and there used to be a website that you could access, and it would give you an interactive map in Pasco County, Florida, which is where Wesley Chapel is located, and it would show you the most recent crime activity, and you could do a date range search. You could search, I believe you could search by crime type. You could really zoom in to a particular neighborhood if you were interested in finding out that information. But that is no longer available to the residents in Pasco County. You cannot look up that information like that. You can't. It does not exist. But I have some websites that I'm going to share with you today that are going to take you through some helpful things. Now, one of the websites so I have done a lot of research about websites that can provide my clients with information that they could perhaps find useful in letting them determine whether or not they feel an area is safe for them or not. And so I'm allowed to give you that information, those websites, and then you can do the research yourself. Now, all the websites that I will mention will be linked below in the description, so please do check that out. So the first one that I'll start with is from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement that gives you an interactive map of registered sex offenders. And that information was very easy to find because it is a requirement that is available to the public. So all you have to do is put in the address and do a search, and you can change how far out you would like to pull the search by miles, and it will show some icons of where people are listed as where they live. And then you can click on that and get more information if you'd like. So that information is readily available no matter where you are in Pasco County or even anywhere in the state of Florida for that matter. So know that you can find that information very easily. So the next website that I'm going to share with you is crimegrade.org, and I mean, it gives some interesting information. It's not very detailed in terms of specific crimes that have happened in an area, but it shades areas by color to try and give you a sense of whether or not some place is safe. So green and yellow and red, and then they write up a report towards the end, and it's pretty basic information. I don't know that it's super helpful, but it might give you a sense of what's going on in a particular area. So crimegrade.org, check that out. That might be of some use to you, at least for getting a little bit of data. The next website is one of my favorites. It's by LexisNexis, and it's called the Community Crime Map. And unfortunately, though, it does not give specific information at all for anywhere in Pasco County, Florida. So I really wish that it had information about Wesley Chapel, but it does not. But I wanted to show it to you because it does give information about the city of Tampa. And this is what an interactive crime map looks like. And I think it's very helpful because it gives you very specific detail. And I won't click on the icons, but when you do click on different ones, they have different meanings, and they tell you specific information about things that have happened in a particular area. That is very helpful. So if you are thinking of moving into the city of Tampa, you would want to try maybe and use that if you were looking to find crime statistics. In my research, I was searching for other areas, but we just discussed the Tampa area, which is in Hillsborough County. But I also looked into PINELLAS County, which is where our Gulf Coast beaches are. And I did find that the Pinellas County government has a website where there is an interactive crime searching map. There are a lot of municipalities in Pinellas County, and it does not appear that everyone is participating in sharing this data, but there is some good information available. So I also included this interactive search website for you as well, in case you were not just specifically focusing on Wesley Chapel, but the entire Greater Tampa Bay area. Okay, so now you're saying, well, Allison, you didn't really help us very much because we didn't find out whether or not Wesley Chapel is safe. And you didn't even tell us really how to do that. I mean, we can search if there are sex offenders close to the property we want to buy, but we don't know anything else. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that, because I, as a citizen of Pasco County, am also a little concerned about that. I don't have easy access to that information. So I took a drive down to my local sheriff's department office today, and I went inside and I asked them, hey, where can I find out this information? And they were a little bit baffled as well. They were very, very nice there, and they were on the internet and they were searching. They searched the sheriff's website to see if there was a link for residents or anything, and they also could not find any information of an easy way to search. So what they did advise me is, if there is someone who is interested in finding out specific crime data for a particular address and the surrounding area of that address, that all they need to do is call the sheriff's office, ask for the records department, and tell them what you're interested in doing, and then they should be able to help you. So that's the information I have from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, and they were very nice there, and I'm sure that they'll be very helpful. But let's just talk about common sense. If you're looking at living in a certain area, there are a few things that you can do to find out if you feel comfortable living there. And one of those things is driving around the neighborhood at different times of the day or different times in the week. A weekend in the daytime may be very different than a weekend at night or a weekday at night. You may see people working out in their yard on a Saturday. Just stop and ask, hey, how's the neighborhood? What do you think? You know, just have a conversation. People are usually very friendly and willing to open up, and they will tell you things that you have just would not even imagine. And you never know, you might make a new friend. So I would suggest that you go ahead and do that. Take a tour of the neighborhood at different times of the day and night and talk to people. That just makes a lot of sense. To take a tour of Wesley Chapel, watch this video, and if you have any questions about buying or selling in Wesley Chapel, just reach out to me. I'm happy to help.